Before this video ends, you will see people differently. Someone close to you is already playing a strategic game, and you don't even realize you're on the board. Listen carefully. Right now, as you hear these words, someone in your circle is calculating the exact cost of your replacement. They are smiling, they are nodding, but behind their eyes, they are measuring your utility. This isn't a cynical theory, it is the cold biological tax of being alive. You've likely felt that sudden icy chill in your gut when your best friend, the person you supported 100 times over, suddenly vanished, the very moment you needed them most. You felt that burning silence in a meeting when a colleague you trusted presented your breakthrough idea as their own, watching them collect the credit while you stayed invisible. You felt the walls closing in, the realization dawning that you were the only one playing by the rules in a room full of predators. Your psyche demands a world of fairness. It screams for justice and merit. But the universe does not speak the language of deserve. It speaks the language of leverage. Imagine we are standing on a jagged cliffside at midnight, overlooking a black, churning ocean. This is the true nature of power. It is vast, it is indifferent, and it swallows the weak without a sound. In these waters, there are no good or bad intentions. There is only the predator and the prey. You have spent your life trying to be a good person, but in the theater of power, that is often just a synonym for victim. Niccolo Machiavelli didn't write for the hopeful, he wrote for the survivors. He looked into the darkest corners of the human heart and mapped the architecture of dominance. He understood that history isn't written by the righteous, it is written by the strategists who were willing to do what others were too afraid to imagine. We are about to hand you the keys to this architecture. 18 unbreakable laws that will grant you an unfair advantage in a world that is already trying to dismantle you. This isn't a lecture, it's a manual for your psychological liberation. We will show you how to stop being the fuel for someone else's fire. We will teach you how to see the daggers before they strike, and how to build a throne where others see only a cage. The game is already being played. The only question is, are you a piece on the board, or are you the hand that moves it? Let us begin. To build a throne, you must first understand the soil upon which it stands. That soil is the human heart, a place not of light, but of shadowed needs and calculated hungers. Most people fail because they treat others as they wish them to be. We will treat them as they are. Rule 1. Eliminate the illusion of goodwill. The most dangerous weapon your enemy possesses is your own belief in their kindness. You've likely felt a warm glow of comfort when someone offered you a selfless favor. Your psyche craves the safety of altruism. But Machiavelli knew that goodwill is a mirage, a fragile veil designed to make you lower your guard. In the arena of power, there are no friends. There are only partners in utility. Loyalty is not a permanent state of being. It is a temporary contract that expires the moment the profit margin disappears. You must stop asking, "Does this person like me?" and start asking, "What does this person need from me?" Think of the best friend we mentioned. They didn't leave because they were evil. They left because the cost of staying exceeded the benefit of your friendship. When you rely on someone's heart, you are a beggar. When you rely on their self-interest, you are a master. Rule 2. Cultivate dependency, not love. It is a common mistake to strive for affection. Love is a fickle emotion, easily swayed by a new face or a better offer. Fear and necessity, however, are anchors. Machiavelli taught that it is far safer to be feared than loved, but more importantly, it is essential to be needed. Your psyche requires you to feel indispensable. To achieve an unfair advantage, you must weave yourself so deeply into the fabric of another's success that destroying you would mean destroying themselves. If they can breathe without you, they will eventually choke you. Do not be the person who is nice to have. Be the person who holds the keys to the vault. When someone stays with you because they love you, they are doing you a favor. When they stay because they cannot survive without you, they are your subject. Rule 3. The surgeon's generosity. Calculate every gift. Have you ever wondered why the most generous people are often the most disrespected? It is because they violate the law of scarcity. Your psyche tells you that giving more will make people appreciate you more. The reality is the opposite. Infinite giving creates an expectation of entitlement. Generosity must be surgical. It should be unexpected, infrequent, and always tied to a subtle reminder of your power. Machiavelli observed that men are more offended by the loss of their property than the death of their kin. Therefore, never give so much that you become a source of free resources. Every gift you give should be a golden shackle. If you give, do it in a way that highlights the receiver's debt. Make them feel the weight of the favor, so they know that what was given can just as easily be taken away. Rule 4. Judge by the hand, not the tongue. We are a species of storytellers. We love to believe the narratives people craft about themselves. But your psyche is easily deceived by a well-told lie. A man will tell you he values integrity, while he is actively looking for a way to bypass you. Machiavelli's rule is simple. Ignore the words. Words are cheap, meant to distract and soothe. Watch the hands. Watch the actions. A person's history is the only map that doesn't lie. If a man has betrayed a master once for a bag of silver, he will betray you for a handful of copper. Remember the colleague who stole your idea. They likely spent weeks telling you how much they valued your collaboration. Their tongue was a distraction. Their hand was in your pocket. From this moment on, you will treat every word as a performance and every action as a confession. Rule 5. Master the scarcity of your presence. The more you are seen, the more you are common. The more you speak, the more ordinary you appear. Your psyche pushes you to seek validation, to talk, to be part of the group. But in the theater of power, presence is a resource that must be rationed. If you are always available, you are a commodity. If you are rare, you are a luxury. Machiavelli understood that the masses admire what they cannot easily grasp. By withdrawing, by being silent, you force others to fill the void with their own fears and imaginations. When you enter a room, do not be the loudest. Be the one whose silence makes the loudest people nervous. Force them to wonder what you are thinking. In that space of uncertainty, you possess the ultimate unfair advantage. You are the mystery they cannot solve. The world is a stage, but most people are merely spectators. To dominate, you must become the director, the lead actor, and the master of lighting. Machiavelli understood that human beings are superficial creatures. We do not see the world as it is. We see it as it appears to be. If you control the appearance, you control the reality. Rule 6. Wear the mask of virtue to shield the blade of intent. You've likely felt a deep sense of trust towards someone simply because they spoke of values, ethics, or transparency. Your psyche is programmed to seek out moral anchors in a chaotic world. Machiavelli's most ruthless insight was this: you do not need to be virtuous, but you must absolutely appear to be. If you are known as a shark, people will build cages to keep you out. But if you are known as a saint, they will open their gates and invite you into their inner sanctums. Virtue is not a lifestyle. It is high-grade military camouflage. Always have a noble reason for your most selfish actions. If you must dismantle a rival, do it in the name of efficiency or protecting the team culture. When you wrap your ambition in the flag of morality, anyone who opposes you isn't just a competitor, they become an enemy of what is right. Rule 7. Master the mirror. Reflect what they desire to see. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get ahead despite having less talent than you? It's because they are psychological chameleons. Your psyche feels safe when it encounters familiarity. We trust people who remind us of ourselves. To gain an unfair advantage, you must stop being a fixed personality and start being a reflection. If you are dealing with a man of ego, reflect his brilliance back at him. If you are dealing with a man of caution, reflect his prudence. Remember the colleague who climbed the ladder while you stayed still. They didn't work harder. They mirrored the boss's insecurities and turned them into shared visions. By becoming the mirror, you bypass their defenses. People cannot attack you without attacking the version of themselves you have reflected. Rule 8. The power of the controlled flaw. Total perfection is terrifying. It breeds suspicion and envy. You've likely felt a strange sense of relief when a powerful person admitted to a small mistake or showed a human side. This is a trap. Your psyche lowers its guard when it perceives a vulnerability. Machiavelli knew that the wise leader displays a calculated weakness. Admit to a minor vice, a small habit, or a harmless mistake. This creates a decoy vulnerability that distracts others from looking for your real secrets. Use your flaws to humanize your shadow. By confessing to something small and irrelevant, you satisfy the world's hunger for authenticity while keeping your true designs under lock and key. Let them laugh at your small, clumsy habit while you quietly secure the board. Rule 9. Hide your genius behind the cloak of the ordinary. The most dangerous man in the room is the one no one suspects. Your psyche often compels you to show off your intelligence, to prove you are the smartest person in the conversation. This is a fatal ego trap. To show your claws is to invite others to sharpen theirs. True Machiavellianism requires you to play the dim-witted fox by appearing less intelligent or less ambitious than you actually are. You encourage your rivals to become arrogant and careless. They will speak freely in front of you, revealing their plans because they believe you are too simple to understand them. Consider the quiet person in the office who everyone overlooks until the day they are suddenly promoted over everyone else. They weren't lucky, they were invisible. They gathered intelligence while everyone else was busy performing. Silence isn't just golden, it's a surveillance tool. Rule 10. Create a cult of reputation. Reputation is the cornerstone of power. It is the ghost that enters the room before you do. You've likely felt intimidated by someone's legend before you even met them. This is because the mind fills in the gaps of the unknown with exaggerated respect or fear. Once you establish a reputation for being decisive, or brilliant, or even slightly unpredictable, it does 80% of the work for you. It protects you from attack and ensures compliance without you having to lift a finger. Your reputation must be singular and sharp. If it is kindness, make it legendary. If it is efficiency, make it terrifying, but never let it be average. Protect this image with your life. For if the mask of your reputation cracks, the reality of your human limitations will be exposed and your advantage will vanish. Control is not exerted through chains, it is exerted through the mind. Machiavelli understood that he who defines the narrative defines the outcome. In this theater, information is not just data, it is a weapon, a shield, and a snare. To master the unfair advantage, you must become the creator of what others perceive as the truth. Rule 11. The vacuum of silence. Force the world to reveal itself. You've likely felt an unbearable urge to fill a sudden silence in a conversation. Your psyche views silence as a threat, a void that must be occupied by words, explanations, or nervous chatter. Machiavelli's most effective disciples use this horror vacuum against their rivals. When you speak, you give away your position. When you listen, you map the enemy's territory. By maintaining a cold, calculated silence, you force others to fill the space in their discomfort. They will offer up their insecurities, their plans, and their secrets just to ease the tension of the quiet. The next time you are in a negotiation or a confrontation, ask a short, pointed question and then stop. Do not nod. Do not smile. Just watch. Your silence acts as a vacuum that sucks the truth out of your opponent's mouth. They will talk themselves into a corner while you remain an unreadable fortress. Rule 12. Weaponize transparency, the art of the fragmented truth. We are told from birth that the truth will set you free, but your psyche is often blinded by the glare of too much information. Machiavelli knew that absolute honesty is a strategic suicide, but absolute lying is a tactical risk. The master uses fragmented truth. You give people 90% of the truth, the parts that are harmless, the parts that make you look vulnerable or sincere. This weaponized transparency creates such a strong illusion of honesty that no one looks for the missing 10%. That 10% is where your true power lies. Think of a leader who admits to a minor scandal to distract from a massive coup. By giving the public a truth to chew on, he satisfies their hunger for honesty while protecting his ultimate objective. You must learn to offer the world a bone so they don't notice you're moving the entire mountain behind their backs. Rule 13. Narrate the past to control the future. Have you ever noticed how the same event can be described as a disaster by one person and a necessary sacrifice by another? Your psyche does not record facts, it records stories. Machiavelli observed that the masses are more influenced by the interpretation of an event than by the event itself. To hold an unfair advantage, you must be the first to name things. If a project fails, you must be the one to frame it as a strategic pivot. If a rival leaves, you must be the one to whisper the reason why. Whoever speaks first and with the most conviction sets the baseline for reality. Do not wait for the truth to emerge. Truth is a clay that you must mold before it hardens. Use rumors not as lies, but as provisional realities. Plant a seed of doubt today, and by tomorrow it will have grown into a forest of common knowledge that traps your enemies. Rule 14. The surveillance of the soul. Know their hunger. Most people walk through life projecting their own values onto others. Your psyche wants to believe that because you value loyalty, your partner does too. This is a fatal projection. Machiavelli taught that to control a man, you must find his ache, the one thing he craves or the one thing he fears above all else. Once you identify someone's hidden hunger, be it vanity, money, or the need for approval, you no longer need to argue with them. You simply provide or withhold the object of their desire. You become the source of their psychological oxygen. Imagine the loyal employee who works late every night. Is it for the company? No. If you look closer, you'll see they have a desperate need for the boss's validation to heal an old insecurity. The boss who knows this doesn't offer a raise. They offer a good job. I couldn't do this without you. A few words of targeted validation are cheaper and more effective than gold. Know the hunger, and you own the man. History is not a record of who was right. It is a graveyard of those who waited too long to act. Your psyche is naturally inclined toward hesitation. It whispers that maybe things will get better, or perhaps they didn't mean it. Machiavelli's final and most ruthless lesson is that hope is a luxury of the doomed. In the arena of power, the only way to guarantee your safety is to eliminate the threat before it takes form. Rule 15. Identify the seed of betrayal before it blooms. You've likely felt that subtle shift in the air. A colleague who stops making eye contact, a partner whose tone becomes slightly too formal, or a friend who starts questioning your decisions in front of others. Most people ignore these signals because they fear conflict, but your psyche knows these are the tremors before the earthquake. Machiavelli taught that danger is like a fever in the beginning. It is easy to cure but hard to detect. At the end, it is easy to detect but impossible to cure. You must train your eyes to see the micro-betrayals. When you detect the first sign of a shifting loyalty, do not confront it with emotion. Instead, create a stress test. Give the suspected individual a small secret piece of information or a task that requires them to choose between your interest and their own. If they fail the small test, they will eventually fail the big one. Strike the root before the tree can grow to crush you. Rule 16. The total strike. Leave no room for resurrection. If you must strike, you must do so with such overwhelming force that the possibility of revenge is extinguished forever. Your psyche often pulls you toward mercy or half measures, thinking that if you are fair in your victory, your enemy will be grateful. This is a fatal delusion. A wounded enemy is more dangerous than a dead one. If you take a man's pride but leave him his tools, he will spend every waking hour plotting your downfall. Machiavelli observed that men should either be caressed or annihilated. Anything in between is a gamble you cannot afford to take. Think of the business rival who was let go but allowed to keep their connections and reputation intact. 6 months later, they are your biggest competitor, fueled by the sting of their previous loss. When the time comes to end a threat, do it completely. Cut the ties, seize the assets, and redefine the landscape so they have nowhere to stand. Rule 17. Surprise as a force multiplier. In the theater of power, the loudest move is rarely the most effective. You've likely felt the paralyzing shock of a sudden change you didn't see coming. That paralysis is your greatest weapon against others. Your psyche, and the psyche of your enemies, requires time to adapt to new realities. By striking without warning, you rob them of that time. Machiavelli knew that fear follows surprise, and respect follows fear. If you announce your intentions, you allow your rivals to build walls. If you strike while they are still smiling at you, you bypass their defenses entirely. Never telegraph your moves. Maintain the ordinary mask we discussed earlier until the very millisecond of impact. The goal is not just to win, but to win so fast that the world doesn't even realize the game has changed until you are already holding the trophy. Rule 18. Own the vacuum of leadership. Power is a physical force. It abhors a vacuum. Whenever a conflict ends or a leader falls, there is a moment of pure chaos. Most people retreat during this time, waiting for the dust to settle. Your psyche seeks safety in the shadows. But this is the moment of the unfair advantage. The strategist does not wait for the dust to settle. They are the ones who settle it. In the moments following a strike, the masses are looking for a new direction, a new narrative, and a new master. If you do not step into that space with absolute conviction, someone else, perhaps someone more ruthless than you, will. Do not ask for permission to lead. Do not wait for a consensus. Assert your new order as if it were an inevitability of nature. When you act as if you have already won, others will naturally fall into line. Power is not given, it is occupied. We have walked through the shadows of the human heart. We have dismantled the illusions of kindness, peeled back the masks of virtue, and mapped the cold mechanics of the strike. Most people will watch this and feel a sense of discomfort. They will call it cynical. They will call it dark. But your psyche knows the truth. You feel that resonance in your chest because for the first time, someone is speaking the language of the world as it actually is, not as we were lied to in childhood. The 18 rules we have revealed are not just tactics, they are the transition from being a subject to being a sovereign. To have an unfair advantage is to accept a simple, brutal reality. Power has never belonged to the moral. It has always belonged to the strategic. The world does not care about your intentions. It does not record your good heart or your silent sacrifices. It only remembers who stood at the end of the day. It only rewards the hand that moves the pieces. You now possess the architecture of dominance. You can choose to walk back into the light of comfortable delusions, or you can step forward into the cold clarity of the strategist. You can continue to pray for justice, or you can begin to create it. The choice is yours. But remember, in the game of power, neutrality is just a slow form of surrender. If you are tired of being the fuel for someone else's engine, if you are ready to master the dark psychology of success and reclaim your edge, you belong here. Subscribe to the channel now. Join the circle of those who see through the veil. Don't let the next move be made against you. Become the hand that moves the board. Stay sharp. Stay ruthless. We'll see you in the next chapter. This was only one layer of the game. The next layer is deeper and far more dangerous. Subscribe and step into it.